Welcome to the Big Four Accounting Firms podcast, brought to you by big4accountingfirms.com. Today we are going to be discussing Ernst and Young's 2017 revenue numbers since they were just released. But before we do, I wanted to remind you to subscribe to this podcast and share it with a friend. We also have 2 books on Amazon that will help you get a job at the Big Four. I'll include links to those books in the show notes. Thanks for dialing the Big Four networks. You will be joined to your conference call soon. Okay, let's get right to it. Ernst and Young reported their 2017 revenue numbers on September 5th, 2017. And the news was released straight out of their headquarters in London. And this year, they recorded their 7th consecutive year of revenue growth, which makes sense since after the financial downturn in 2009, they probably had positive years ever since. And their revenues for 2017 were $31.4 billion. Wow, that is a huge number. This represents 7.8% growth from their revenues in 2016, and their revenues in 2016 were $29.6 billion. Now, where did all that growth come from? Let's take a look at how the revenue breaks down by the line of service first. Assurance continues to be the most profitable line of service for Ernst and Young, at least from a revenue perspective. They earned $11.6 billion from their assurance practice. Advisory was their next most profitable practice at $8.5 billion. Tax was the third largest line of service at $8.2 billion. And transaction advisory services came in last at $3.1 billion. Transactions advisory services is a separate line of service where in most other accounting firms, it is just included in advisory. And the highest growing line of service was transaction advisory services with a 15.5% growth rate. And the next highest growing practice was advisory with 10.4% growth rate. Now let's take a look at revenue by region. The most profitable region for Ernst & Young was their Americas region. Their Americas region earned $14.5 billion. And their next most profitable region was their EMEA region, which earned them $12.2 billion in revenue. And their third largest region was their Asia Pacific region with $3.6 billion in revenue. And their last region was Japan, where they earned $1.1 billion in revenue. Their region with the highest growth in revenue was their Asia Pacific region with 11.3% growth. Another thing that the Big Four accounting firms like to do with these revenue releases is release the number of employees. And E&Y grew their practice to 247,570 employees in 2017. This represents an increase of 7.3% as compared to their 2016 fiscal year. And they had 230,000 employees in 2016. And this makes a lot of sense because the percentage increase in employees is usually the same as the percentage revenue growth, because the Big Four accounting firms make money based off the number of employees they have and the amount of output that those employees put out. All in all, this is a good year for Ernst & Young. They were able to break the $30 billion mark and join PwC and Deloitte in the $30 billion club, which is $30 billion of revenue in a single year. And we have yet to hear from Deloitte and PwC to see if either of them will break the $40 billion club. Mark Weinberger, who is the EY Global Chairman, had the following to say about the company's performance this year. We have once again achieved strong revenue growth in what continues to be a complex business environment. In this disrupted and fast-paced world, clients are increasingly turning to E&Y for advice and insights on how to better manage risk, where to seek growth, and how to weave digital into their strategies and operations. EY has a holistic approach to digital transformation and innovation, which is embedded across all service lines and sectors. Significant investment in people and new technologies have allowed us to respond to the dynamic environment. While remaining focused on providing high-quality services, we are embracing these changes and utilizing technologies like robotics process automation, artificial intelligence, and analytics to support clients as they work their way through these changing times. End quote. Mark Weinberger is trying to talk about E&Y's good performance in this quote, while also promoting EY's technology tools as the technology consulting landscape gets more competitive. It will definitely be a battle to see which Big Four accounting firm performs the best in a digital consulting age. And one of the biggest things that EY announced in this press release as well is that they are trying to use drones as they grow revenue, and they're trying to do that by using them for inventory audits, which is awesome. It's awesome just to imagine an associate in a cubicle manning a drone while counting inventory on this output screen of the drone. And you know, the ultimate product from this inventory counting drone will be some kind of computer recognition by the drone of the inventory. But before that, you also know that it's going to be some associate just watching the monitor and counting inventory on a screen while the drone is filming the inventory. Well, I think we'll end with that. That's all we have for today. I wanted to remind you to make sure to subscribe to this podcast so you can stay up to date on all the Big Four accounting firms' revenue numbers, as we still have the other 3 accounting firms to go this year. You are now leaving the Big Four networks. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast, share it with a friend, and visit big4accountingfirms.com. Thanks for joining today's call.